What's up guys, Card Protagonist here, and today I will be doing a deck profound on the Star Dragon World Jackknife Soul Aster deck from the latest Buddyfight booster, Evolution and Mutation. Soul Aster is Jack's latest form that allows the Suku to perform the Gao formation with maximum protection, because all battle damage is reduced by 2 as long as Aster is on the field. So I will be doing a brief explanation on the deck's mechanic and explain why I choose certain cards. So let's get started. So in this deck, I used the Buddy Galaxy Dragoner Jackknife because he's a really powerful card. He allows you to do a double attack because his ability basically allows you to call another Jackknife from a drop zone. So you could call, after attacking him, you could call Soul Aster and do another attack because a monster card will be in stand position. So you do double, so it's kind of like a double attack. And the best part is, after it attacks, since you don't really want him to be on the field after the battle because Soul Aster is a much defensive card. After attacking, you can like attack with Aster, then use Aster to protect you during your opponent's turn. So that's one good combo you like to do for most of the games. So yeah, a great Buddy, and of course the flag we have is the Suku and Jack flag. It's cute. Alright, so for the monsters to play 4 copies of Soul Aster, he is the boss monster of the deck. And he is from the latest pack, the secret pack of Evolution and Mutation, so he's pretty hard to get, and he's actually really good. So this card ability is call cost. Put this card on top of up to 1 monster to Jackknife in its name. So you could actually call him without a Jackknife card. You could, if let's say you have no cards on the field, you can just call him by paying 1 gauge and you have a Jackknife on the field. So it's a pretty good card because you don't really get clocked like, oh my god, I do not have a Jackknife on the field, and he ends up dead in your hand. You could actually just call him and put some Dragon Arms into the soul so that you can still continue the game. So his second ability is, if this card's on the left or right, damage dealt to you but attacks are reduced by 2. This ability is amazing because most battle damage is 3 or less in Buddyfight. So your opponent will definitely be going after Jack if he's placed on the right hand side or left hand side. So any battle damage done to you will be reduced by 2. So for example, let's say your opponent has Butts with 2 crits, he will have to kill this, otherwise all damage done to you is reduced to 0. So that is a very defensive skill. Allows the Suku to go into the Gao formation without any problems. His third ability is, souls in this card cannot be put into the drop zone, and abilities of all cards and all souls on your field cannot be nullified by opponent card's effects. So say goodbye to Oberon Toilet because just Oberon, because you won't be able to nullify its effect and all cards on the field. So it is a great protection against nullified decks such as Stars, which is quite dangerous actually. So, and the great thing is souls cannot be removed, so your opponent won't be able to low-key and remove all souls from Aster. So you can safely put a lot of souls into him because most of the time, if your opponent were to even do you damage, you will have to kill Jack first before he can even get to you. So Jack's an amazing card. Alright, that's 4 copies of Aster. Now let's just go on to the next secret pack card, which is 4 copies of Hero Dragon Jackknife. So after Jackknife became a hero in Star Dragon World, everyone recognized him as the hero. So he's like, I didn't know Jack's name is Findar the 100. It's a pretty cool name. His skill is call cost. Put this card on top of a monster on your field and pay 1 gauge. So his call cost is pretty flexible. Yes, even though you need to put on top of a monster, it doesn't specify that you need to put on a Jackknife monster. So you could actually put it on top of a Dragon Arm, and yeah, this you basically just got a Jack just like that. It's easy. Alright, so put it onto a monster and pay 1 gauge. When this card enters the field, look at the top card of your deck, then choose to put the card into the soul or into your hand. So it's great because let's say you top deck into his ability and you top deck into Star Trek Repair, you could just add it to your hand and then cast it and repair Jack and give Jack more Dragon Arms. Or if you get a Dragon Arms, you can always put it Jack. So it is a +1 either way. Calling him, it gives you a +1. This is why this deck is so good, because Hero Jack is just gives you so much turbo for the deck, allowing you to draw cards even faster and speeds up your game. So it's a very powerful unit. Next is 4 copies of Galaxy Dragoner Jackknife. This is the main beat stick of the deck. Allows you to transform into Soul Aster, or you can even transfer to Hero Jackknife to get a free plus attack. And then you can evolve into one of these depending on which situation you want. If you think you can end the game and you want to draw an impact, try to go to this Jack, and you can hopefully draw an impact monster, for example Galactic Punisher, to finish off your opponents. So yeah, a very flexible card, core cost of 1 gauge, and put a card from your drop zone into the soul. So one thing to warn is, before you summon this guy, make sure you have cards in the drop zone, otherwise you won't be able to summon it. You can't pay the gauge and then add it to the soul, because unlike Zodiac, it doesn't say then. He says put a card from the drop zone and pay 1 gauge. So you must have a target in the drop zone before calling him. Otherwise, he's actually one of the best jacks also. The best aggressive jack. Counter, Galaxy Wing. During a turn, you can call a monster with Jackknife card name from the drop zone into this card on top of this card by paying its call cost. You may only use Galaxy Wing once per turn. So yeah, if it's not once per turn, it's gotta be broken, because you've got like Galaxy Wing, attack Galaxy Wing, attack Galaxy Wing. And that's stupid, right? Alright, so 4 copies of Galaxy Wing, a very, very powerful unit. Basically makes Jack tier 1 for sure. Alright, let's go on to size 1s. 4 copies of the Secret Pack, Dragon Arm's Radiant Fuel. He helps you search for Aster, your Aster searcher. This is why the deck is so consistent. You are able to search, you basically play 8 copies of Aster in the deck. So his ability is Light Core Reaction. When this card is put from the field on the drop zone into the soul of a Jackknife, you may pay 1 life. If you do, put up to 1 monster with the Aster name from the deck into your hand. So if you play the old Aster, the original Aster, you will also be able to search it from the deck. So most of the time, if this card enters my Jack, for example, if you go into a Hero Guardian Jack, you can just search out Aster and get it to your hand, so you can evolve into Soul Aster. That's great. And of course, you can also search him up by Starjack Repair, Starjack Docking, and so many ways. There are many ways to get this card into the soul of your monster, so you get a free card in your hand. So yeah, that's pretty much it. It just helps you search out for Aster. Alright, so 4 copies. So next up, we have 4 copies of Biggest Dragon Arm Triple Buster. This is the main offensive Dragon Arm for Jack. So his ability is, when this card's in the soul of a Neo Dragon, basically Jack, that card gains a 1 crit plus 3k and a penetrate ability. So since there are many so-called center-based decks such as Dragon Zui right now, this card is very, very important. Also, he helps you push for damage and push for games. So I really like this monster. It is one of the best Dragon Arms that Bushiroad have ever gave us. Now, for some support units, we play 4 copies of V-Graduation Quantum Ruler. Quantum Ruler is an amazing card. When this card enters the field, Stardust Brave. If you have a Neo Dragon with 1 or more soul, charge 1 and draw 1. So it is a +1 when you enter the field. Plus 1.5 to be exact, because +1 for the hand card and plus 0.5 for the gauge. So it is a very, very powerful card. Quantum Ruler. And next up, 4 copies of Tasuku's Buddy, Jackknife SD. He's the brand new Jackknife from Evolution and Mutation. One of the best Jack as well, because firstly, he's a size 1 with the Jack name. So you could actually put it on top of, you could put Aster on top of him. And of course, you can fulfill many conditions with him. So if this card enters the soul of him, you can also search out Soul Aster. So his ability is, when this card enters the field, choose a Neo Dragon on your field and put the top 3 cards of the deck into the drop zone and put a monster among them into this card's soul. So in a way, it's similar to the Oni Assassin's IO. If you guys play that card, it is a very, very, very powerful card, because he helps you get stuff in the soul. So stuff like Radiant Fuel, any of these Dragon Arms go in the soul, you're definitely getting a +1. And of course, he's also a great monster. He has 3 crits with a Soul Guard as well. So you could actually call him and target itself and give him the soul, so that it can evolve to Aster and stuff. So it's a very, very powerful card. I really, really love this guy. Alright, so that's for monsters. Let's go on to our spells. Spells, first up, we play 4 copies of the Starjack Repair. Basically helps you repair Dragon Arms into your Neo Dragons. You may only cast this card if you have a Jackknife with its card name on your field. So this is a Jack specific card, exclusive to Jack. Charge 1 gauge and then put a card from a drop zone into a soul of a Neo Dragon on your field. So it's good because first up, most of the time your opponent will be attacking Soul Aster, so you always want to repair him as much as possible. Put some Dragon Arms into him, and of course if you put some great Dragon Arms such as these, you can search out more Soul Aster so they can place on top, get more Soul Asters. Yeah, and of course charging 1 gauge is always nice. Next up, 4 copies of Starjack Docking, the brand new negate we have for the Jack deck from Evolution and Mutation. Basically, if you have an open center, which this deck plays an open center, you can pay 1 gauge, nullify attack, and put up to 1 card from the drop zone into a Neo Dragon on the field. It is amazing because, first up, after if your Jack is getting attacked, you can use this negate attack, then put one card in the soul. So you make your Jack even tankier. This is one of the best negates that I've ever seen. So next up, more protection since you play the Gao formation, and of course 4 copies of Mass Barrier. If your opponent attack is not link attack, you can negate the attack. So in case they are attacking your life point directly or attacking Jack, you can protect Jack or your life points. 2 copies of Sonic Move, one of the coolest negate art in my opinion, because I really love the New Dragons. You may only cast the card if you have an open center, nullify attack. It is somewhat a better negate, but yeah, 2 is enough because sometimes you do put cards in the center. Right, for the weapons, we play 4 copies of Radiant Star, Linkage. This weapon is also the brand new card support for Jackknife in Evolution and Mutation. Pay 1 gauge for equip cost. Counter. Choose a monster with Jackknife in its card name from your field, and you may rest this card. If you do, stand the chosen card. So basically, rest this card and restand a Jackknife card. So one great combo you want to do is you can use it with cards such as Galactic Punisher. So if you know that you're gonna do Impact Monster summon, you summon Impact Monster. Don't attack with a weapon yet. Attack with Impact Monster, rest. Attack with Impact Monster again. So that is one combo you like to do the deck. This weapon is so good because generally Jacks have very high crit. Jack base crit is 3, and if you add a Triple Buster, it's 4 crits. So yeah, swinging for 4 crits again is very good in this deck. So this weapon is great. And very good combo with your Impact Monsters as well, which I'll be going through right now. So for the Impact Monsters, we play 4 cards, 2 copies of Galactic Punisher, a very good classic card. Pay 3 gauge and put on top of a Neo Dragon on the field, so you could actually put on any other Neo Dragons. You don't really need to put on Jack. You could put it on Quantum Ruler if you have to, but of course I prefer to put it on Jack. But in case you really don't have a monster, you can just call it and finish the game. This card enters the field, you can put up to 1 card from drop zone into this card's soul, so you could put a Triple Buster into the soul and increase its crit. So yeah, getting more crit is good. The damage dealt to your opponent by this card cannot be reduced if it's attacking alone, and it has Penetrate and Soul Guard, so it is very good. 10k definitely can run out through many of your opponent's walls. So 2 copies of that, and 2 copies of I won't say brand new, but this from the previous set, Dark Chaos, I believe. Alright, Jackknife World Linker. This impact is amazing. Core cost, put this on top of a card with Jackknife in its name and pay 2 gauge. So it's just 2 gauge, you can call this card. This card is a powerful ability called Counter Advanced Future. Choose a monster with Jackknife in your name, and from its card soul. For this turn, this card gains all abilities of the chosen card. You may only cast Advanced Future once per turn. It has Soul Guard. Alright, the reason why this card is great is because you can copy the effect of Soul Aster in the soul. So let's say you attack with Soul Aster. Final phase, World Linker, I can attack 1 more time. And during your opponent's turn, you can activate its ability to become Soul Aster. So any damage done to you in the center will be reduced by 2. So yeah, it basically carries on Soul Aster's abilities to your opponent's battle phase, giving you more tankiness. And of course, the extra attack for the final phase is just so good. Right, so 2 copies of World Linker Jackknife. So before I end this video, if you'd like to buy my Buddyfight decks or singles like these, be sure to check out buddy-mart.com. Links in the description box down below. So thanks for watching and peace out. Love you guys. Rawr.